And we're live.
We're live.
We're
here.
live.
We're ready. It's time to go. Welcome to Let's Make Art. We like to paint.
Yeah.
We're painters.
That's true.
We are watercolorists, and you might be sitting there thinking, I'm not a watercolorist. Well, if you're painting along tonight with watercolor, guess what? You are a watercolorist.
Ta-da! It happens.
It happened. Okay, so this is our project for today. We're doing this gorgeous amethyst. It's lovely. It's beautiful. It's all about value, so that's what we're going to be practicing. And for our guest today, we have Molly. Welcome, Molly.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yay!
Thanks.
And of course, Al's doing camera work in the back. You'll hear him
Good job, Al.
every once in a while when he makes jokes. You know, tells me
The
where
commentary.
to look. So thank you for being here. We're really excited to paint. We have our two colors, hyacinth blue and cyclamen, right here. I think it was actually, somebody tagged me. I think cyclamen is a type of flower or a plant. I think Sue actually tagged me in that. It's like a really pretty light purple flowery
Pretty.
plant, because when we did the tutorial, I'm like, I don't even know what cyclamen is or if I'm pronouncing that right.
Now you know.
So if that was Sue, thank you. If that was someone else, thank you also.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody. Whoever did it, thank you. And I'm just going to put them out here on my palette. Me and Molly are just going to share this big old palette right now. And should we trace first or do our oath first? I always forget.
I feel like once you start tracing, people are like, well, the oath.
Okay, you're right. Let's do our oath.
Okay.
Everybody raise your right hand. Al's doing it too, good. And repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
Promise to be kind to myself.
Promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to have a good time.
Promise
I
to have a
promise
good
to
time.
have a good time.
And I promise not to compare my work.
And
Promise
I
to
promise
not
not to compare my work.
Perfect. Because painting, sometimes people think, oh, I'm just not born with that skill. That's just not how it happens. Skill gets better as you practice it. That's just how it goes.
Wait, will you ask in the chat who's joining us for the first time? I feel like we've got new
Oh,
people.
do we have new people here tonight? If this is your first time, let us know, please.
You want
We love new people. We want to know you.
inquiring mind.
We want you to know us. We're really excited about this. So, so painting is just like anything else, like piano or sewing or cooking. You practice and you learn and you get better, and everybody's in different stages of learning.
Yeah.
And so you just have to remember that and keep that in mind.
Learning new techniques.
Exactly. Okay. So we have our outline. We have our graphite paper. So if you've never used graphite paper or an outline before, this is a tool I use in my personal work all the time because it just makes it so much easier for me. I get an outline or I draw something out, and then when I'm ready to transfer it onto my watercolor paper, I tape my outline down to my paper, and that way it doesn't move as I'm tracing it. And then I take my graphite paper and I put it dark side down onto my watercolor paper. And then you can just take... Molly was starting to outline.
I thought I was
Remember,
ahead of myself. I'm behind myself.
put in the graphite paper, that's an important step. And then you start outlining. Now, remember when you outline, you don't want to press too hard. If you press too hard, then that graphite paper is going to show up super, super dark. And once...
We're doing it dark.
I'm going to do it a little bit darker, so when you guys are watching me paint, you know what areas I'm talking about. So I'm going to do it darker, but you guys try and do it light, because with watercolor, once water hits that graphite, it will not erase. And so we don't want to have like dark outlines on our paper. So, and you can always check it as you go, like make a few marks, lift up your paper and be like, oh, that's too dark, that's too light, and then you can kind of adjust it from there. That's why taping down your outline is nice to have, because you can check your work as you go, and you won't lose your spot. And then what I've done here is I've just kind of outlined the different, because with like gems and rocks and those kinds of things, they have a different, we had this problem when we were doing the tutorial, facets, faces,
Faces, maybe?
Faces. They have different planes, there's different angles.
What's to say?
What's that word? If you know that word, please let me know. But they're basically just like cut at different angles, and it's the light hitting those angles differently that we get those different values. So that's why there's so many sections on this little amethyst drawing I have here. So kind of just go through, follow along on the outlines. Now on some of the outlines, I'll also like kind of highlight where there's like shadows, like I'll do an outline where there's a shadow or a highlight or something, but this one is really actually just the straight lines that we're going to kind of color in.
Judy says facets.
Judy, facets. Thank you. So that was the word I used, right?
Yeah. You're right.
Thanks, Judy. I was right the whole time. That feels really good.
Sarah.
Lee concurs. Look, everybody's rallying around.
Lee, thank you, Lee. Thank you, you guys.
See, I said us. I wrote me into the
Even though you told
Look,
me
we
faces.
knew it. We all knew it.
We did it. It's great. So just kind of, and then if you want to do an outline in a different colored pen, so you like can keep track of what you've done so far, we've had that suggestion, and I think it's genius.
I think that was Rob that was like.
Rob, and I think actually somebody said it during a live video before, a few weeks before.
Yeah, Rob. He was on our live video.
Was it Rob?
Yeah.
Good
Okay,
job.
No,
Rob.
Somebody.
No, somebody else. Rob. No, somebody
Good
else.
looking, not Rob. No.
Rob, genius. Have I done that yet? Not yet. But the day that I bring in a red pen to do it, it's going to be really exciting. Can't wait. And if you do end up missing a line and you get to that spot, all you got to do is just kind of wing it, It's just painting. It's just paint on paper. Okay, I'm going to lift this up. Can you go to the overhead and make sure that they can see this? Like the outline?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, that looks good.
Does it look good? Dark enough?
I think we got a good outline.
Okay.
Are you already done?
Yeah.
Girl.
Hurry up, Molly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Just
Take your time. Okay. Then I think I am, I forgot one little section. Let me check it. Okay, I'm good. Oh, good. Thank you, Jamie. She says I can see it. Not that I didn't trust you, Al. Just, thanks, Jamie. You good?
I
think
I'm
you're good. Good job. Okay.
One more. Right there.
So we're going to do a couple warm-ups first, and since this project is literally just about like even washes in different values, that's going to be what we're going to kind of warm up with. So I want you to take your brush and get it wet because it's watercolor. And every time that I dip my brush in, I usually like hit it off the side of my cup so it's not totally dripping. And then what I want you to do is I want you to make 3 values sections on your paper. I want you to do a dark value, a light value, and a medium value. Or dark, medium, light, light, medium, dark. Any order you want, just try and have 3 different values on there. And with this watercolor paper, there is like a smooth side and there is a textured side. So try and remember to paint on the more textured side. That side is just a bit more absorbent. Okay.
I didn't realize that.
There's 2 sides to this paper. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of cyclamen. What?
There's 2 sides.
There's 2 sides to this paper.
You may not have noticed.
You may not have noticed.
Looks
There's
like
a
one
side. You flip
The
it over.
obvious things.
There's another side. I got to pay attention when I talk. Okay.
I like
So to have a dark value, you're just going to have more paint on your brush than water. And then to lighten it up, you just add water. So I'm going to start with my dark value first. I mix a little bit of my cyclamen and my hyacinth to get this like really gorgeous purple violet color, if you will. And then I'm just going to make like a square and then fill it in. So this is my dark value here. And you can see that that is pretty dark.
Yeah, I need dark Maybe I don't.
No, that's good.
Okay.
That's a nice dark value.
Thank you.
And then all I'm going to do to make mine a medium value is I'm just going to actually just kind of dip my brush and not totally rinse it, but just kind of get it wet. Pick up a tiny bit more paint, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my medium value. You just want to make sure your medium value is lighter. And then to make it like even, you just kind of go back and forth on it. Back and forth. And then for my lightest value, this one I want it to be mostly water. Mostly water and like the tiniest bit of paint. And if you're new to watercolor, you are going to want to like pick up a ton of paint while you're painting. But with watercolor, you have to remember that water is the medium. So don't think of the paint as the medium so much, it's the water. So don't be afraid to pick up that water, really absorb that up. And your lightest value is going to be like it's going to be very light.
Very pale.
Yeah. So you can see on my paper here, I have a clear, I have a dark, I have a medium, I have a light. Oh, good job, Molly. Perfect. Now, if you're doing yours, and let's say you're trying to do a light value here, but you just pick up too much paint, and you lay this down and you're like, you know what, that's pretty heavy. This isn't as light as I want it to be. You can lift some color out, just rinse your brush, and then kind of swoop up the color, pat it on your paper towel, so you're lifting up the color with your brush. So you can lighten up areas just by adding clean water and picking up that color. Just like that. So now that's lighter because I picked up the color. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do our standard warm up, which is our dark to light value in kind of one swoosh. So I'm picking up my paint. I'm going to start off dark here. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and start off where I left out and keep kind of swooping back and forth, up and down, not across, up and down. And kind of let that bleed out into a natural dark to light value change or like an ombre. Now, as you can see, I have a nice kind of dark to light on here, but if I were to kind of swoop this way and move it across, then I lose that value change. So this is how you want to make an even wash. See how it's evening out and I lost my like dark side and my light side? Just keep that in mind as you're kind of painting this, that if you want an area to stay dark, then don't keep going over it with the brush. You just kind of like put the color down, let it move across the water, and leave it alone. Just like that. Okay, and one more thing we're going to do is I just want you to practice. So the cyclamen is more of a pink, if you can see that on my palette here. See how that's like a pink purple, and then this hyacinth is more like a blue purple.
Like an indigo.
Yeah.
I love that color.
It's a great color. I love it too. And but just as we're kind of like painting this, I just want you to pay attention to mixing, right? So this is my like purple if I mix them together here. Now if you want it to be a little bit more blue, you're just going to pick up more hyacinth and mix that in there. You do this too, Molly.
I will do it.
Okay, so this is the middle, right? This is the cyclamen and the indigo. This is more hyacinth. This is cyclamen and hyacinth, and this is more hyacinth, so it has a more blue look. And then if I mix more of the cyclamen in, it's a pinker purple. So you're getting 3 different shades of purple. And I just want you to kind of practice, like recognize, because as you're painting, you might be like, you know what, this square or this, area is a little bit more pink and I want to like tone it down to the more standard purple. Then you're just going to mix a little bit more of the hyacinth in there. So just kind of play with those colors and mixing them together. Usually I kind of just mix a big batch at the beginning and then just play off of that. But I just want to make sure you guys know that you can totally change the colors as you go or adjust them.
I like
Yeah, that's great.
it. It is
Okay,
fun.
I think we're ready. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay,
Do this.
so here's our outline. We have two brushes that we're using today. We're using the round 6 and the round 2. So I use the round 6 for larger areas and the round 2 for smaller areas. But you can use whatever feels comfortable for you. Some people feel more comfortable using a smaller brush. Some people feel more comfortable using bigger. It's your painting. You do what feels right for you. So our first step, we have 4 steps to this amethyst, and we're going to start with step 1, and that is putting in our dark values. So I'm taking my brush, picking up paint, and I'm making sure I'm picking up a lot of paint because I want this value to be dark, so it has more paint than water. And then I'm just going to kind of start looking. If you have a reference photo handy, it's a really good idea to have it next to you so you can kind of refer to it as you go, or you can kind of just follow along with me. I'm just going to go and find all the dark areas in this amethyst and fill those in. So I'm going to start with my big guy right here and just start filling it in with my dark value.
Oh yeah, the big fella.
The big fella right here.
Here comes the accent.
We met a New Zealand woman on Sunday,
We did.
and we didn't even speak New Zealand to her.
We didn't even try our New Zealand accents on her. You know what? I think that that was probably a good move.
No, I disagree.
Because I'm telling you, a couple months ago, my New Zealand accent was on point, and I've just been losing it.
Oh, Carol says it's hard to see with all the comments running across. Carol, if you swipe the comments to the right, you won't even see it. It'll turn.
Carol, swipe comments to the right, they'll go away. So you can just see this good stuff going on. Okay, so I'm putting him, and you'll notice as I go around and I do these different sections, I'm actually going to leave a thin white line between the different sections as I paint them that are outlined on here, so you guys have the same sections. And that's just because those are the edges, and I just want to make sure they're highlighted. So that's why I just leave a nice thin white line in between. So that is what I'm going to do when I come across and I meet this section over here. I'm just going to leave a nice thin white line. And then you fill it in, just kind of even, back and forth. And now looking at my painting, this is where you can be like, I kind of want this top section to be a little bit more pink. You can just drop in some straight cyclamen right in there, and it gives you a more pink purple.
Cycle it in there.
Cycle it in there. Molly, you are good tonight with those
Very
puns.
funny.
Cycle that cyclamen in there, and you're good to go.
This will be your punishment for the night.
I love puns.
I do too.
I'm ready for it. They're my favorite. Okay.
I like how
Yeah. And it's actually kind of fun when you just drop in pure color, because you're going to get these really interesting bleeds and pops and all of that fun stuff that we like in watercolor. So don't be afraid to drop in a little color here and there. Now, if you're using your round 6 brush to do these smaller areas, remember you can still do some nice fine lines with your round 6. You just have to make sure you're using the lightest pressure with your brush, and that's how you get those nice thin lines, because all rounds come to a nice little point right at the top. And then if you need to move your body or your paper, I'm going to move mine a little bit to the side. Is that okay overhead still? Just so I can.
Yeah, we still got it.
Okay, just so I can reach these without kind of putting my hand in the paint that I just laid down.
That's a good idea. So they're talking about the comments. in the comments.
Uh-huh.
Ollie says she can just cast it to a TV, then no comments. Boom.
Oh, Holly,
Watch on
great
your big
idea.
screen, you're all
Cast
set.
it to a TV, make your whole family watch it, and we'll have a good time. You'll be
Who's
painting.
watching Federer? We're watching art.
So I'm kind of just moving across all of these different, there's like a few different protuberances. Is that a word?
Oh my god.
That's a word for sure, right? There's like,
Protrusions?
is that it?
I think that's it, not protuberances.
This is really.
You know
a
what? If
vocab
I'm right,
lesson.
I'm going to be so happy. But anyways,
Lee, do not.
I
come
could be
after me.
even if I'm wrong, comment that I'm right, just so we can tell out. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyways, there's 4 or 5 like pokey things sticking out. I'm just going kind of across them, filling in all the dark sections that they have. Because that is my first step, filling in those dark values.
Courtney says that's from the outfits. Protuberances.
Is it? Maybe that's why I said it. I watch that show too much.
Watch your left hand, you can't see.
Oh, left hand. Thank you. Okay. Going down here on this bottom left one. How are you doing over there, Molly?
I think okay.
Yeah, you're doing great.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing the right ones over there.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, I think I filled in all my dark sections, except the bottom rocky part. That one we do in the very last step, so just kind of ignore that one till we get there. And then when we go to, before we move on to our next step, which is our medium, there are a couple areas in here that kind of transition from dark to light. They have that value change, like what we practice in the beginning. So this one right here, it starts dark at the bottom and then it gets lighter. This one, it's darker at the top and then it gets lighter. So I'm gonna just do those right now and put those in. So on this far right one here, I'm gonna go along the side. I'm putting in my dark first. Similar to our warm up, we kind of start in strong with color. And then I'm just going to rinse my brush and kind of slide that color down, rinse again, slide this color down. And I want it to get super light at the bottom to where it's almost like you're just using paint water to do that bottom part down there. And remember, you can still lift up color with your brush if it's just too strong. Then I'm going to drop in a little bit more blue here, more of the hyacinth here at the top. Just like that. So now we have a nice dark to light. And then same thing, but the dark is at the bottom here. So I'm going to start at the bottom dark. I'm going to actually turn this a bit. And sometimes you just have to kind of put your elbow down and like let your wrist hover so it doesn't land in the paint. Then you rinse your brush, start off where you left, rinse it again, to where it's just paint water basically that you're using to move this. Okay. There's actually some darker sections over here that I'm going to put in this far left.
Holly called it. She said you missed a spot.
Thanks, Holly. Keeping an eye out. I love it.
of a live studio audience. You're doing it wrong.
I feel like that was happening when we were doing recording a tutorial. I like said something, and Al, you were like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes." It was funny. And then there's another darker one over here. Now, as you can see on this little area, my little white line didn't make it. That's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I got a couple of those.
Yeah. Just try and leave a thin white line. If it doesn't make it on there, though, it's not going to destroy your painting or change it. Just try and keep it there if you can. That. Oh, and I have a dark area over here. Okay. I think I got all my dark areas in, and then I'm just going to kind of go through in the areas that are a little too like blue. Like I feel like this is a really blue area, so I'm going to drop in a little bit.
I noticed the blue.
Yeah, it's very blue. Just going to drop in.
Where it's really blue?
I'm sure they get it when it's really blue. Just going to drop in a little hyacinth. Let some of that pink purple.
Sue was wondering if you sketched this from a photograph.
Yeah, so usually all the outlines that we do, I'll look at a few reference photos, I'll sketch our outline, and then we make copies of that. So most of the time I have multiple reference photos that I'm looking at while I'm drawing or painting, so I don't kind of get lost. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a little bit more pink. Now even on this area, so this one where I did a nice dark to light, it's reading really blue purpley to me. I want to introduce a little bit more pink, so I'm just taking some cyclamen, I'm putting some water with it so it's not like super dark, and then I'm just kind of gonna go over that wash just a little bit to give it a touch of that other color.
Val on YouTube was asking, have you ever tried the Hydrus paints from Dr. P.H. Martin's?
I have tried the Hydrus paints before, and some of their colors are really great. I actually used to use the red from that line when I did my watercolors, but so sometimes they're really great, and they have some great colors there too. But also I've noticed that a few of their paints tend to be grainy in the Hydrus collection, and they don't blend as smoothly as the Radiant collection does, which is why I like the Radiant collection more. So the nice thing about Hydrus is they are light fast. So if you're looking at, like, you know, if it's important to you that you're selling originals where you want it to last a long time, then the Hydrus collection is light fast. But for me, since I usually make prints of my work and they just stay on my desk, I care more about like paint workability and the color, which is why I like to use the Radiant collection, personally. Okay. You're doing good. It looks great.
Okay.
I put in all my dark sections. I'm going to, Eric, that's my husband's friend. Okay. I'm going to start with step 2, which is our medium value. So we put in our darks, and now we're going to put in our medium value. So all you really have to do when you do your medium value is, I'm just going to like, this is my big section in the middle that I've been pulling from. I'm just going to get my brush wet and kind of just add water on the side over here. So it's already going to be lighter than what I put down because I just added some water on there. And then I'm just going to start filling in that medium value. So here, and the nice thing is that these values are going to be right next to each other, so you can tell pretty quickly if it's lighter, if it needs to be lighter. Right now, I think it's reading good.
It's reading.
It's reading. It's reading. It's reading. It's reading right where I want it to. It's not too dark. It's not too light. Because remember, we do still have one lighter value after this. And then I'm just gonna go over kind of on the side here. Just drop in a little bit of a different color. Maybe more of that hyacinth on the edge here. And a little cyclamen. So we have some interesting color changes there. Just after we laid it in, just dropping in a little bit of color. Like that. Okay. And then the one right in front. Now this one is still a medium value here, but it does get a little bit lighter as you go down. So it's that same idea. We're going to start by putting in our medium color right underneath. And then as we go down, we're just going to rinse our brush and lighten it up just a tad. So there's a nice value change within it. And then I'm just going to drop in a little bit of this hyacinth at the top here. What is hyacinth? Does anybody know?
The flower.
Flower too.
Is that a flower too?
Flowers are just really colorful.
Colorful. I wonder what they look like. Anybody? Anybody know?
How to describe?
True.
I think they're kind of like, oh, I have it in my head, but I don't know how to describe it.
Don't stress. It's fine. It's a hard thing to ask someone to describe a flower. Okay. And then I'm going to drop in just a little cyclamen in the middle here, just for a little touch of that pinky purple. Now, I learned this I had this one teacher when I went to art school, and he would always be like, what color is that? And he would say blue, and he's like, okay, but is it like a purple blue, or is it like a green blue? And so like ever since then, it's like every color. I'm like, there are, it's almost like two colors for everything. And it actually, for like all my prints I sell and stuff, my husband sets up my printer and the inks for me. And it drives him nuts because I'll print something and I'll be like, no, this brown, this is a red brown and I need it to be a yellow brown. He's like, I don't know what you mean. It's brown. And I'm like, no, look at it. It is a red. So anyways.
The tones.
Yeah.
There's different tones.
So just when you're kind of painting, pay attention to those different like hints of other colors within a color. And hopefully it just doesn't drive you nuts as I like label everything 3 colors, or it'll be fine. Okay.
Billy McIntosh shared the Wikipedia entry for hyacinth.
Thanks,
now
Billy.
You know.
Now I know, Billy. Thank you. Does it say flower?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to...
Does it say flower?
I don't know. Maybe there's 2 things
got
to
that
it.
much right.
Okay. So I'm still working on my medium values. I think my big first rock here is done with medium. The only section here is a light section, so I'm not going to do that one yet. So I'm going to just kind of move on to this next little section over here and start filling in my mediums. And I'm going to tell you guys a trick that I use to help distinguish between like lights and darks. And I know Al's gonna make fun of me because he doesn't believe me, but I swear that it works. So if you're looking at a picture or a painting and you're trying to identify where there are darks and where there are lights, all you have to do is like kind of squint your eyes. And I know that sounds so silly, but I swear I do this in all of my paintings, because sometimes you get so like into it and close up to it that you're like, well, wait, how do I tell between the light value and the medium value? Like, they look so similar to me. So all you have to do is you like take your painting and you kind of squint. So you're like halfway closing your eyes. I know it sounds so silly and you might feel silly, but I'm telling you, it's So efficient. And you're like, you can be like, okay, this area is easily dark, this one's dark, and then it's like, this one's my lightest area, this is my lightest area. So if you're having trouble distinguishing between those different values, squint your eyes halfway at your painting, and I promise you, it will help.
I believe you, Sarah.
Thanks, Molly.
Holly says this gem's already popping.
Yeah! Poppin'
It's a
gem.
potty gem reaction.
Poppy? I love painting gems. But it is a lot of like small sectioned work, you know? So there's like a level of patience you have to have almost to it because there's lots of little things here and there. But I actually was kind of surprised the first time I painted it because like at this stage I was like, I don't know about this. Like, how is this going to come together? But at the end, you're like, oh yeah, this looks good. And this is also one of those paintings that if you kind of set it away farther, it looks better. Like,
and squint at it.
Like, yeah, squint at it. But it just looks a little bit better farther away.
You can see the dynamics.
Yeah, and it looks better photographed too, actually, is what I've noticed as I photographed it. Okay, now I'm kind of moving on to this guy over here. I'm still using my 6, but there's like a little guy right in here. I'll probably use my 2 on that one because that's just a little itty bitty guy.
Just a little fella.
Just a little fella down there.
Gotta get like really close.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm just going to keep kind of moving on with my mediums. Oh. And it's never too late to drop in. I have a dark section over here that was just reading way too blue. So I dropped in a little bit of cyclamen. Okay. And this section here, this is also medium value, but it does fade out to light. So I'm putting in my medium. Then I rinse my brush. Just kind of move it across. Now remember, when you're doing this value change from dark to light, you're going to want to move quickly. Because if you leave the original watercolor there for too long before you try and blend it out, you're going to see a line. So if you don't want lines, just work quick. Okay, I have a medium over here. Oh, and I wanted to say that if you guys sent a postcard to Natalie, who was our June's Make Art Matter, she has the daughters Poppy and Primrose. She shared it on her Facebook, and she had this pile of postcards.
No way.
And her daughter Poppy was holding them all, and so she just wanted to say thank you. I'll see if I could actually share it to our Facebook. But it was just so sweet to see, you know, like. And you can see that there's handwritten messages on the other side too. So if you guys did that, thank you so much. You're awesome. She loved it, and it really made her day. And if you haven't mailed your postcard in yet, you can still absolutely do it. Don't feel like that since, you know, you didn't do it right away that you can't do it still. Because I think it really meant a lot to her. And it said it was so sweet having like a painting of her like daughters together. So... her flower daughters together.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was great. It was I totally cried when I saw the post, and it was just really sweet. So thank you. Okay, now in this little guy over here, I'm gonna move to my 2. Because he doesn't really have any dark on him. It's just medium. That. And this one's a bit more medium too. And I think the reason why I like to use 2 colors instead of just 1 when doing something like this is because you get to like change the colors up as you go. And it's like every time you paint this, it's gonna look a little bit different because you're gonna mix the colors a little bit different every time.
Yeah.
And I really like that idea of like it being, individual and different every time and all that stuff. Oh, I don't need
What happened there?
So I splashed a little bit of purple water on my paper. So I just picked it up with the paper towel. I'm not going to do anything else to it because sometimes in watercolor, the more you try and clean it up, the worse you kind of make it. So there's like a very soft purple dot right there, and I'm just going to embrace it. I'm not going to be mad at it.
Val, I was wondering which design is this month's postcard?
Which design is this month's postcard?
Uh-huh.
We're going to do the mountain sunset on this month's postcard.
Adorable.
Yeah. And remember, if you have someone in mind for Make Art Matter, you can, email us. We have a form on our website where you can kind of nominate someone. You just got to tell us a little bit about them, and it could be for anybody. It could be, your neighbor's 100th birthday, or, a friend. Give me another scenario, Al.
Nope.
Through a hard
Dave's
time.
birthday?
Nope. That was really funny. What did you say, Molly?
Someone going through a hard time.
Someone going through a hard time. That's a good one. I just want
Who would 100 hand-painted postcards not make happy?
happy. I don't know.
That's so cool.
It's just the greatest thing. And I just want you guys to realize that art can be so much more than just like a pretty picture. It's still a pretty picture, but it can really make someone feel good and feel loved and know that you're thinking of them. Special. Perfect.
Molly with the one word.
Molly coming in with
One-word
these
punches.
one-word winners that are like, yes,
Good.
perfect, special.
My input.
I love it. Okay, I think I've pretty much put in my medium. I'm going to do this one over here. This one's kind of medium at the bottom, and then it goes to light. Just like that. Okay. I think I just have light now, but I'm going to just kind of take a second and adjust colors. I'm going to add a little bit more cyclamen on the top here. And if it's too thick, just take a damp brush and kind of lift it up a little bit. I should probably check in with Molly, huh? I haven't done that yet. Should I just move her painting over here?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I'm a little behind.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, so we have Molly's here. This is looking really nice. I can tell she has her dark and lights values. I can tell that she went back in and dropped in some cyclamen here and here, which is gorgeous because we're getting these really interesting like color changes. So that's looking really good. The only thing that I would suggest is maybe like this section and this one can go a little bit darker.
Yeah.
So when you have a second, and you can always do another layer of dark, so don't let that be a problem for you. She can just go in and go on top of it straight and see how much darker that is.
Yeah.
Because we want to make it super obvious that like
It's very
this section is very deep and dark valued. So we put that dark in, and then you can even still put that cyclamen in on the top and let that bleed.
Cool.
So yeah, we want to make sure that our darks are really dark. So that's nice and dark here. That's nice and dark. I would work over here a little bit more, and on this one and darken that up just a tiny bit more. But it's looking great.
Thank you. Like, I I don't know if I can say this. Georges.
Geode. No, I don't think that turns into gorgeous.
I feel like you need to confess. Molly was Googling amethyst jokes.
She was Googling amethyst jokes.
I was trying, but the amethyrsty one was the only one that I could find. I just have a natural talent, Al, okay?
She does. She's good at puns, except that geode gorgeous one. That one
It's
was
just hard
iffy.
to say. It's like, who's George? Georges.
Georges. Okay, we're moving into light value. This is like our third step. We're like halfway done with this painting. You guys are doing great. You should feel really good about yourselves.
Ooh.
It's going swimmingly, I feel. Okay, so I'm doing my light. All I do is I'm just adding water to my medium wash that I already have. And then I'm just going to start putting in my light value here. And I'm going to actually rinse my brush and kind of lift up some of this color because I want it to be even lighter than what I put down. Is an amethyst a geode?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything. I think when I was filming the tutorial for this, I'm like, man, I really should research what this is that I'm painting here.
What was? Can you tell the joke? When you said it as your wallpaper?
Yeah. Should I tell that again? Because
I do
you
like
did
it.
not laugh at that.
No, I'm ready this time.
You're ready? So I was like, tell a funny story about, do you have any funny stories about amethyst? I'm like, well, I had one as my screensaver for like the longest time on my
Found it
phone.
on Pinterest and loved it.
Found it on Pinterest, loved it, saved it as my screensaver. And it was just this gorgeous illustration of an amethyst. And my husband, who is a scientist, he was like, that is really, he saw my phone, he's like, that is really cool. What is that? I'm like, that's a rock. Thank you for the laugh.
Gotcha.
Anyways, he loves that story because he's like, I know it's a rock, but what is it? And I'm like, oh, I don't know that. And anyways, I told that story in the tutorial. You might have watched it, and Al did not think that was that funny.
I didn't know we got to the punchline.
We got to the punchline, and it was like dead silence. And I was like, oh, maybe that's not a funny story.
Killed it.
But now he was ready for it. He laughed appropriately. Good job, Al.
Thanks.
You did good this time.
I lived to fight it.
Okay.
What is that? Yeah, that's a rock.
I'm like, that's a rock. He's like, I know it's a rock. What kind of rock?
I'm a scientist.
I'm like, I don't know. It's a pretty one that I put on my phone. So I just put in my light section, but it actually doesn't look that much lighter than that medium value, so I'm just going to pick up some of that paint just with a clean brush and lighten that up. Just like that. See? Magic. Magic-like.
Jen Hutchison says she learns a lot from your videos. Thank you, Jen.
Oh, thanks, Jen. I'm so glad you like them. Oh,
Jen's cool. I like Jen.
Jen's super cool. Wait, do you know her personally?
No.
Oh.
That's what makes her so cool.
That is what makes her so cool. That reminds me of, we had an intern here for a little bit, Casey, and he's on this show a couple times, so if you've watched a bit, you've seen him because he's painted with us before. But anyways, we got orders. It was like when we were first starting, so we're still excited anytime we get an order, but it was like a little bit more rare in the beginning. And he was just like, wow, this lady Sue ordered so much. Like, this is so great. And I'm like, oh yeah, Sue, that's my best friend's mom. And he was like, oh. He's like, that's cool, but that's like not as cool, Sarah, because you know her. I was like, thanks, Casey.
It's even cooler.
He was like bummed that it was someone I knew. I'm like, it still counts. It's support.
Yeah, it's cool that your friend's mom's
That's what
supporting
I'm
you.
saying. I'm like, if anything, it's more cool.
I don't know if any of my friends' moms know what I'm doing in life.
Well, you need to post these paintings and they'll know that you are a watercolorist now.
Yeah, obviously.
obviously. Okay, so I'm just going across, filling in my light sections. Oh, that looks really nice, Molly.
Thank you.
I'm gonna move hers to the center here. She has some really pretty like pinkish light values going on over here that are really lovely. Gorgeous. Great job.
You talk like an 80-year-old woman.
Do
Really
I?
lovely.
They are lovely.
If you had a cigarette like an extended thing, that's really lovely.
It is lovely. I feel like that's such a good word.
I use that word.
Yeah.
So I support it.
Betty says you make it look so easy. Betty, are you having trouble? Can we help?
Betty, are you painting along with us? I hope so. Okay, I have my different sections. I'm gonna just make, oh wait, let me fill out my light before I start kind of making adjustments to some other ones. I'm gonna turn my page here. How's everyone feeling out there? Is your painting coming along? I feel like me and Molly are doing pretty good.
I'm feeling good about it.
Good. You should. It looks great.
Once I get some stuff filled in here.
Okay, and then in this middle section over here, I know it doesn't get super clear, but that's just like a really light value because in the reference photos, it was like the place where all these things were kind of coming out, sticking out. And it was just like almost like a very like soft white, slightly purplish crystal area. And it wasn't like, because it wasn't sticking out and facing all these different directions like these, the light wasn't hitting it the same way. So it's kind of more just like this even valued area right there in the middle. And actually for that, I'm kind of grateful because sometimes in a painting, when there's like lots of like value changes, it kind of moves our eye, right? Because we see all these dark and light spots, so it's making us move. And sometimes our eyes need a space to rest when looking at a painting. And I know this sounds really funny, but it's true. So sometimes it's nice to have an area that is kind of more relaxed, because then it's like there's so much going on here, 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 and then it's like, oh, I get to the middle. Okay, this is just light colors over here, you know? So it's a nice little area for your eyes to take a rest.
On your painting viewing journey.
On your painting viewing journey, exactly.
Kelly says it's beautiful. She's learning so much and having so much fun.
Thanks, Mom.
Speaking of
Mom. Support and Mom.
Yeah,
And that's my mom. She actually comes in on Thursday. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Her and my sister are coming. She'll probably paint with us. She started painting with us every week. She does a great job. She used to major in art in college. And I think that's one of the things that I'm so grateful about for like this company and what we're doing is like, I've always been one that's been kind of artsy, but now I feel like I have so many more family members that this is like something we can do together now, even just virtually. And it's nice because we never like had that space before. It was like, oh, that's your thing. And now it's like, it's our thing and we do it together and we talk about it. And it's not like this like kind of separate hobby.
Technology has done that for us.
Yeah, it's just really, even like my older sister, she does it. And both of my moms, like, it's just something that we can connect on that we haven't been able to do that before. And I'm really grateful for that. AKA, call your mom, paint with her. She'll love it.
Hashtag paint your mom.
Hashtag. Did you say paint your mom?
What's that?
Okay, so I put in my light values. I'm still ignoring this bottom part because we're not there yet. And then I'm just going to kind of go through and kind of check what I've done so far and see if there's any adjustments I need to make. I kind of want to make this top area a tad bit darker so it stands out a little bit better next to that light value. But if you feel good about where your values are at, please don't feel like you have to do this. If you're like, no, my values are clear and I like them, then don't do this part.
Who's saying that out there? No.
And you can kind of, if you want to do like water droplets while it's still kind of wet, just to get some texture variation, you're welcome to. It won't then make it a smooth, even wash, but that's the fun thing about watercolor sometimes is you get those interesting textures going on. Same thing, I kind of just want to darken up this top just a little. Here, and then I feel like I need to add some more in here and really differentiate between these, because these three colors are all the same, so I'm going to kind of darken this one up. And remember, you can always adjust the colors a little bit after you put them down. I'm going to darken this one up here just a tad. I'm going to drop in a little bit of cyclamen up here too. Okay. Feel good. It's looking good. How are you doing over there, Molly?
Good.
It's looking great.
I'm trying to get caught up yet.
Yeah.
But I'm liking the contrast of everything.
Yeah.
The reflections and.
Yeah, this is the fun thing about this project is because of the strong contrast between the values, you just get like strong form, and it's just pretty. It's just cool.
Very dimensional.
Yes. Great words, Molly. You're just coming in with these words. It's like, yes.
That's what I do.
Yes. We're just
Jamie Jackson said she and her husband did the bunny together.
Oh,
Same idea.
that's great. Yeah, I love it. My sister actually does it with her husband every week. It's like their date night, and it's so great because they text me their pictures
Right,
after.
it's not a competition.
Okay, I'm just.
Jamie can be cool.
Jamie, you are cool. I love that. I think one of my favorite weeks was when I actually had my husband on the show and we painted together. That was a lot of fun.
That was awkward.
Awkward?
Because you guys were competing for who?
No, we weren't. We can't compare our work, Al. We took an oath.
That's a lie.
Pay attention. Okay, I'm done with my light value. I think
All we have left is just those front rocks, right?
all that we have left is just a little bit of texture. If you see here on our reference photo, we have like some rough textured areas, like almost scratch marks or something. And then they know what I'm saying though, yeah. I feel. And then the rocks here at the bottom. So if you're done with your light value sections, you're like, we're almost there. It's looking so good.
Wait, pause and show us Molly's. Let's check
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Here's Molly's. It's looking really great. She just has a few light areas to fill in down here and this, but it's looking rather lovely, Molly. Very nice. And she went back in and darkened over here. Looks good. Looks very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Okay. Let's see. Should we go? Should we move on to step 4? Yeah?
Let's get on to the cut soap, as they say.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do the cut soap. That's what it reminds me of. Okay. So when we do these rocks, what I like to do is I put in my darks first, and then I kind of just rinse my brush and then kind of like move the color around, but I still leave some white sections. So if you look at my painting here, I kind of like outlined it in dark, and then I left some white sections as I filled the rest of it in. So remember, we don't want like a smooth even, we want to leave some white spots in there, because that's going to be like as if light was hitting directly off of those areas, and it gives us kind of a reflection, same thing as our edges here. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to pick up some dark, I'm just going to mix some more since I added water to mine. And I'm going to kind of just like go along the bottom here a little bit. And then I'm just going to take my brush, rinse it, and then I'm just going to kind of like move the color around. But I'm picking up my brush as I move the color around, so it's not, so I'm still have this white that I want here and there.
Molly, Diane is wondering if you're an experienced watercolorist.
Well, this is my 3rd time on here, and I dabble in the watercolor. I have done
Perhaps you've
some
seen my
things.
work?
She has some experience, I would say.
Yeah.
And she has been on the show a couple of times.
Nothing on expert level, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to put a little
Just
bit
stuff
more
I see on
cyclamen.
Pinterest, and I'm like, can I do that? I don't know.
The answer is yes. Yes, you can. Okay, so I put in my dark, and then I kind of like let it move, and then I left some white spaces, and now I'm kind of just going to drop in some color here and there.
You just got more of?
So I put more cyclamen in, I mixed a little bit of the hyacinth, and then I'm kind of like dropping it here and there. So I'm getting these interesting watercolor textures. You can also drop in water, but we want it to be kind of like almost like bumpy and moving, and it's not going to be as like geometric as this top part. We just want some kind of lights and darks, hints of a shape, but not like so defined.
Val's wondering if there's any spoilers for the August box.
Oh. Should we do any hints?
No, it's secret.
It's a secret.
I know nothing.
We want the unboxing to be.
We want the unboxing to be a little bit more exciting. But I'm so excited for you guys to see what we're doing for August, because it's so cool. It's so fun. So
It's so, so good.
I'm really good at this. No, but we're just painting some really fun projects, and I just can't wait for you guys to see what we're doing.
See my hint I dropped in there?
What was your hint?
It's so,
That is a good hint.
you thought I was making fun of you. I was not.
And then if you want, you could even take a wet brush and like go a little bit further than from where you put your dark, and like kind of move stuff around here too.
I like what you're doing there.
Thanks. Yeah, drop in some dark color there, Molly. There you go.
Get some
That's looking
nice
good.
little contrast there.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little contrast.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to put in our textures here on the side. So, because I feel like gems, they're on their different facets.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes it's not like a smooth, clean cut, right? It's not like a straight line. Sometimes it's like almost a little bit jagged. So that's what these textures are here that we have on the side. That's why this line is more jagged than like the center lines. So to do that, I'm just going to take my 2, and I'm going to kind of just go along the right outside here and just do some horizontal lines. Sorry, I'm like horizontal, vertical. What are you? Horizontal lines, kind of up and down, side to side. And then I'm going to take my brush that's wet and like smear that up a little bit. So I get some lines, because we want to give the idea of texture, give the idea of like a different kind of surface going on that side without having to detail it so much. So kind of let it get a little bit messy. And I'm just going to go back with a little bit more of the hyacinth here, introduce some of that cooler purple in there. Just like that, so we have a nice texture. Now a couple of my lines went over, that's fine. If that happens to you, I'm just gonna leave mine because that's not gonna bother me. But if it's bothering you enough to where that one little line is just driving you nuts, just move the whole side of your amethyst out to cover it.
That could be dangerous. That's a slippery slope.
Is it? I'll do it right
Soon
now.
you've got a 9-foot wide.
I'm gonna do it. So I'm just kind of moving the outside of my line there. See, it's fine. There.
Well, I'll be darned.
Well, I'll be darned. It works still. Okay. And then there was a couple like texture lines here. I'm just going to kind of go across on the side. And when I do my lines, they're all different lengths. They're not all like totally even. And then I just kind of take a damp brush and smear it up a little bit. So we give the idea of texture without having to be so precise. That's how I like to do like everything. And then in the smaller sections over here, there's some textural lines. So I'm just going to kind of go through and do a couple. And these are a little bit more random, the texture ones. So don't feel like you have to be like, wait, what square exactly is she putting that in? You don't have to do that. You can just, like, especially on these smaller ones, you can let those be a little bit more random. And there's a couple over here on the bottom that have those kind of textured rough edges. I think somebody painted this, they followed along with the tutorial, and they didn't have hyacinth blue, but she had iris blue, so she did iris and
another flower.
Cyclamen. Yes, it is. And she got this like crazy purple amethyst. It was gorgeous. And the fun thing about this project is you really can change this to like any color. You can do this in blues or like some soft pinks, which I think would be rose quartz. And just kind of like, right?
I don't know. Dude, you know just enough random facts to get in major trouble. I have no idea.
No, rose quartz is like that soft pink.
It sounds amazing.
It's really pretty. So you could do that with the pinks. The blues would be sapphire. I know that because that's my birthstone.
You're walking without a line. You just unclip it. I'm in.
And yeah, so you can absolutely do this project again, just using different paint colors or leftover paint colors. And now you already know how to do it because you're here right now doing it with us. Okay, I think I'm getting to the point where I should stop soon. Yep. And then I'm just going, and I'm just gonna try and kind of lighten this area up just a little bit more. Just taking a damp brush and kind of like picking up a little bit of paint. Then doing some water droplets in there. Now if you have Salt at home, we've done salt work before, but like this rocky area would be a great place to do some salt work. So just while it's damp, you put in some salt, you let it dry, and it's just gonna get some really interesting textures. Dang, I wish I would have thought of that while I was painting this project, because that would have been cool.
How do you get your salt?
Should we do it? Let's do it. We're grabbing salt. It's just table salt, nothing fancy.
Ah. Might have dropped a little bit too much of that in there,
Thanks.
but that's okay.
That's okay. Okay, wait.
Trying to.
Okay, I'm gonna drop some salt in. Oh, that was a lot. That's good though. We're just gonna see how that dries. Oh, I'm really excited to see how that goes. Okay, Molly, how are you doing over here? Oh, it's looking great.
I filled in my, well, I missed a couple spots. Yeah, I thought I was cut out.
I would fill those in really quick, and then
Okay.
we'll go back to your texture and we'll see. But I feel good about mine.
Well, that's
Let me
good.
smooth out. Let me smooth out an area over here. I'm excited to see how everybody's turned out. A couple of people have already painted it and posted it, and I love it. And then another thing you can do with the salt while it's in there is you can drop in some color too.
On salt.
On this, like in between, it's gonna go in between the salt, but yeah, while the salt's there, you can just drop it. We'll just see what that does.
Yeah, you leave a note.
What?
Your hair was in the paint.
Sorry. Do you know what's funny, Al, is when Michael was recording me last week, he was like, your left hand gets in the way of that close-up camera. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Okay. I'm done. Molly, how are you?
I mean, I think it's, you know, I still gotta do some textures, but
I think it looks great. You do still have
It's
a
good.
couple texture work, but
I'm losing my dimension in this area. Like, I can't tell, like, the separate.
I would leave that honestly
Stones.
because it does get a little bit, it's not super clear
Naturally.
in this one and this one. This one gets a
Okay.
little bit, I think it's just because of how small and how many facets there were, but I wouldn't stress about
Okay.
that. And then Sue asked me if I ever used an easel for watercolor. I haven't.
I feel like it'd be hard because it runs.
I've always just used a flat surface, but I know that some artists like use an easel to get that drip effect. I just have never used it. So if you've used it, Sue, let me know if you like it. I also usually work really small, and so like this is usually the size I work for everything. So I don't need like an easel most of the time because I'm just working like 9 by 12. Okay, Molly, we're gonna hold it up.
Okay,
We ready?
let's do this.
I'm gonna blow on mine a little bit. Now my salt you're not gonna see right now because for that salt texture you have to wait for it to dry completely before you see anything. So I'll post a picture actually after it dries so you guys can kind of see what happened to that. Al, tell us when you're ready.
Yeah, a little program trouble over here.
We're getting it
Just
together
stuck on
over
this
here.
view. We're just stuck on
We're
this
stuck.
view.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So Molly, let's bring yours into frame here. I'm gonna move our reference photo. So here they are.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Wait. We're now on that camera.
wait, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hold it up. Let's hold them up.
All right.
Okay, here are our amethysts.
Woo!
Yay! They look great. They look great. And I'm telling
I'm
you,
excited about
I can
that.
see us on the camera over there and they look so good on the video because they're far away. These ones are really cool. They look way good
Yeah.
farther away.
Squint your eyes.
Squint your
Yeah.
eyes. No, they
It's
look
good.
good. Excellent. I can't wait to see yours. Are we here still?
Yeah, what, here, we'll bring it right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about what camera to talk to. Just go ahead and talk. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
it should be in the middle.
The middle one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you painted this with us, first of all, thank you. You're amazing. I love you for doing this because this is like my dream and I can't believe people are doing it. It makes my day. And 2, share your work. Everybody wants to see it. I want to see it. I love it. So if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and post it in the comments. That way everybody can see it. And we've been doing that lately and I love it because people are like complimenting each other and giving feedback. And it's this really like what I dreamed this should be, is like this community of artists where we just create. So post your work, share it. I know it's scary, but you can do hard things. Look at what the thing you just painted. Like posting it's nothing.
Amethyst is very hard, actually.
Yeah. So share it. You can put it on Instagram. Our Instagram name is Let's Go Make Art. So tag us in it so we can see it. Give it a little bit of love. And the hashtag for this is #watercolor amethyst. That's the name of this project. So share it. I can't wait to see it. I love it. You're wonderful. And next week we are doing this, our watercolor sunrise. Say ooh ah, Molly.
Ooh, ah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Ooh
beautiful one.
ah. So this is fun. There's so many colors, lots
Those
of
colors are
layers.
beautiful.
I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I think that's it. Do we have anything else we need to say? I don't think so. Al, I'm looking at you.
Nope.
Nope.
See you next week.
See you next week. And look out for that tutorial tomorrow on the watercolor mountains.